They were some of the best shows I ever did. Were brought out my
Aloha!
personality
This
in
is
ways
your
that I really don't
mean
even get to talk
squirrel,
about.
here with a quick disclaimer. This
Man, all this shit
podcast
going on in
contains
the world has got my
explicit
weight.
content and parental discretion is advised.
God,
So
they should
no
have like a beard
bitching if
snatch
you
instead of a
fucking get
snatch.
offended by anything. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is how I would have to wear my wig during live broadcast.
Oh, so you would be cousin it.
Going full gaga.
No, this is Sia. Sia covers face.
Oh yeah, see it. I don't know why the fuck I said gaga.
Damn, this bitch is blind.
I wish you guys could actually hear this intro music. I'm gonna have to like send you, tell you what the link is because I don't know if you remember from like way back in the day the tortoise having sex with a shoe. Yeah, dude. Do you know what a turtle sounds like when it's having sex?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now there was a little baby turtle trying to bone a croc, and you know the old ones they sound like angry old dudes. They're like, "Ugh," you know, and that's what they sound like. The young ones, the little tiny ones, they sound like little kids trying to bone. It's like,
yeah.
So somebody went and remixed that shit. Turtle sex remix trap. Trap remix of turtle sex. And yeah, that's what we're using as our intro music right now. I cut that out of the video.
It sounds like some shit that Stewie would play on his fucking show.
So you'll get to hear it at least twice with you guys. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Squirrel Tangent. This is your Squirrel Wrangler, and I am back with Jay and Holland. They are.
Hello, everybody.
We're all back again, and we just recorded an episode just a few minutes ago, and we're recording another one 2 weeks later in 2 minutes. So welcome back. Like you really, didn't see me that long ago. Anyway,
I'm glad you rotated your laundry that fast.
Yeah, because I'm wearing the same shirt. And this episode is not brought to you by anything. My coffee's broken. It's empty. Can't have empty coffee. I'm going to have to refill my coffee in a second.
I'm out of beer.
You're out of beer?
Whether or not I should get another one. Yeah.
I don't have any beer.
I'm not out of beer. I never drink that last little, piss gulp. I just can't.
That's the sip for the homies.
Okay, I got a question for you guys since we're, free ranging. So being that we're all from Vegas or lived or whatever in Vegas for whatever amount of time, what is the trashiest or non-classiest or whatever thing that you guys have done?
Done?
Woke up in the morning.
What?
Woke up in the morning.
I lived in a Seagull Suites.
I said, what did you do? Not where you live.
Oh, dude, that's one of the trashiest things I've done because I'm generally just kind of a basic, average guy. I get up in the morning, I go to work, and I take pleasure in laughing at the stupidity and trashiness of others, not me.
I laugh at you all the time with your Samsung.
I think some of one of the trashiest things was I moved to Vegas.
That was the trashiest thing.
Well, yeah. After the ex that me and Greg are associated with mutually. And the trashiest thing that I did, I think, in my personal opinion, I didn't do this by choice, was I moved into an apartment that was on a street named after her.
Oh
yeah, that's
damn.
That's almost as bad as getting a tattoo of your other half's name.
Yeah.
Dude, I will never get a tattoo. Only names that I have tattooed on my body are my parents' names. That's it.
Yeah, family and a lost loved one. Like if you lost somebody to cancer, if your wife died or something like that in a horrible accident, you tattoo their name and have blood dripping off their face or something like that. It just
Right.
You know, something adequately trashy and inappropriate, so everybody else goes, "Oh my god!"
Trashy.
I would probably have to say I have two. The first one was I'd say a couple of years ago. I had some family friends come into town, and we ate at that beach that's on Las Vegas Boulevard by the Stratosphere, now Strat Hotel. And we had a new server who was bringing us our drinks, and she lost her footing, and some of my drink got on the table, not a lot. And knowing the inner trash in me, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me clean it up." No, you're fine. Just be like, "I'm trash," and I sucked it up off the table.
Oh wow!
And I had the table going. I had some of the other employees going. There's an elderly couple that was sitting kitty corner to us, and the gentleman was like, "That's inappropriate. That's gross." And and he said something else that was kind of like being cocky or. And I was like, "You're probably just pissed because your wife doesn't do that to you."
Oh, wow, wow.
And the other,
I envy that response.
Right? I envy that response. It's kind of like, I in the interim with this COVID-19, I've spent a lot of downtime because they don't always need us to go out and drive. They're putting us out on the road as needed, basically, because I drive the strip routes. And so I'm sitting there, and I start downloading pictures on my phone to color because I'm smart and I have an Android phone.
oh my god!
And using an app that comes built in with my phone, I'm coloring pictures. And one of the pictures I download like adult coloring book pages. And this one, the best one I found. Let me see if I can actually look at it on my screen.
Oh my god! What are you doing, Jay?
No. Let's see.
Well, that's in cursive. Hold on. Let me redo that for all the people that went into third grade post 1995.
Instagram. Oh, there it is. Pen up.
Oops.
This
For the
one.
record, he had written something on, I think, an iPad or something, or a tablet.
This is the LG 10.1 inch Think 8 tablet.
Okay, no, it's not that app. There's one that's on on that comes with Samsung, and it's for the Note series. It's called Pen Up. And
I was my new phone's a Samsung, and I was like, hold on, let me find it.
And well, it might be on the other phones too.
This is the Galaxy A20.
It might be on there. I don't know. But I use that to color, and one of the pictures that I colored was this like neat little floral thing with a whole bunch of like beavers and squirrels and shit like that all over the page. And then it has words on it that say, "Aren't you a little cunt cake?" And I'm like, I found my word, cunt cake. How wonderful is that fucking word? Like, I'm looking for an excuse to have somebody come on the bus and be an ass to me. And I was like, shut the fuck up, you little cunt cake. I just want to say some shit like that.
See, I bit my tongue when I was out there a lot because it's not, it's not worth saying something because either they don't, sometimes it's not, the people that are worth something to, and then the people that are not worth saying something to. But when it comes to like the trashy thing, speaking of work, I had a problem of people eating other people's food in the break room. And I had ordered pizza from a pizza place far from where our office building was.
Was it DiGiorno, and did you pay $60 for it?
No.
In reference to the last episode.
It's still not sponsored. It's called Pizza, and that's on Las Vegas Boulevard. Not sponsored. I wish it was because I love that place.
Oh, right.
And so I had lunch. I had like 2 slices left over. But people had a problem notes that say "Do not touch." People would still eat it, so I ended up fucking taking it, and I taped up the corners, and I fucking put it in the trash, so nobody would touch it. And I come back, and it's still there. Luckily, there wasn't really a lot of trash. So I pick it up. So as I pick it up, I open the box, and I have a coworker walk, sees me pull it out of the trash and take it back, and just starts fucking dying. So, did you seriously just pull it? I was like, yeah, because people eat my shit.
Right.
Like, why would you do that? Well, first of all, I'm like 10% trash. And this is normal for me. Like, the 5-second rule, it's like a 50-second rule for me. Like, it's like, like
it hit the ground, the roach ran over it. Fuck, man, just extra protein. Let's go.
Yeah, like I talk so much shit about myself.
Dust thou art.
And I don't run. I'm not a very active person, honestly, and I very rarely run. And I had to run to grab the bus. I was late going home or going to lunch or whatever. And because the buses were way off, I got back and I had like 4 people in the lunch and the break. And the supervisor I was like, yeah, I had to run for the bus.
Okay.
You ran for the bus? Like, yeah, I ran for the bus.
Now nobody can see us, so and that's the thing. So we're going to describe people for the podcast. Until recently, I was not a very slender person. Beyond that, the other 2 people I'm speaking with are not slender people. None of us run. None of us run. I am not slender, or I'm a fairly slender person at this point. I am down under the 200-pound mark, and I'm 6'2". And I still don't run. If you see me running, you should follow, because there's either some fantastic food at the other end or some shit is chasing me that you don't want to be there for.
See, the best.
If 2020 keeps going in the direction it is, we're all going to get a lot of exercise by the end of the year.
Oh, right.
See, the best way to describe me is, if you work at a fast food place and you go outside and you take the trash can, I'm that big green dumpster and like sits in the back.
He would be.
The best way to describe me, picture the giant green dumpster going down a hill.
Oh, right. No, and if I was to describe Holland, he would be trashy fabulous. Okay, so it's yas.
Until you turn the lights on, then you're like, damn, turn it off. Come on.
No lights. Ah!
Like I'm about a 4 with the lights on and about a 7 with the lights off. Maybe an 8 with the plastic bag and the lights off. But
paper bag, they're harder to see through.
I'm about a 5 when you first see me from across the room. Then if you approach me, I'm an 11.
Oh,
okay. There's a term that I use. It's called the double damn. So when you're out and you see somebody from a distance they look good, you're like, damn. And then you start walking and they get close and it's like, never mind, damn. Like,
yeah, no, and it's a nice from far from nice.
I'm a single damn on the back end.
Single damn on the back end.
For me, it's a nice from far, but far from nice. When you look at them from a distance, you're like, oh shit, well that catches my interest, and then when they get closer, you're like, oh shit,
because you also have like the type where you have a single dam, but it's like when it's like you're not sure and it's like right in the middle, you're like, damn, and then you go on to like, what's your credit for? Because that'll vary. Like, what's your credit limit? If they got good credit, if they have bad. Yeah.
But then again, we work in Vegas, and like if you're down on Fremont, you'll see both. You'll see the damn, and then you'll also see the damn.
I love Fremont Street. One time I saw a guy. He was holding up a sign because he
sure
needed
it was a guy,
right? It was a guy, and you'll find out why here in a second. And he was holding up a sign that says, "We'll let you do anything to me for $20." And I walked past him. I walked past him, went to Main Street Station, stayed in Main Street Station for about 30 minutes, and then walked back past him the other direction. As I was walking past him the second time, there was a crowd surrounded by him, and the cops were standing there. And I was like, "Oh shit, this guy get killed?" Apparently, a guy that used to be a kicker in football
I see where
paid this man $20 to punt his gonads across Fremont Street.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at the cops and I was like, "Shouldn't you guys do something to stop this?" And they were like, "He asked for it."
Well, yeah, like if I'm asking you to kick me in nuts.
Right? No, they got guys. They got guys that work on the strip that actually have the sign that says "Kick me in the nuts" for $20.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of the weirdest fucking signs. Like we'll teabag it. Like I've seen one that says "We'll teabag a shark for $1."
Dude, I saw one, and this guy panhandlers make bank in Vegas. They really do. They make fucking bank in Vegas. This guy's on the corner of Sahara and LVB, Las Vegas Boulevard. And he's standing there with a sign, and he says, his sign says, "Need $20 for a cheap hooker and a great condom."
Cheap hooker, go to Fremont. Condom, go to Walgreens, get a bag.
Right.
You can get one on Fremont if you go to Four Queens.
Right. But need $20 for a condom for a cheap hooker and a condom. I'm like, wow. And
I've seen somebody with a.
I would have gave him 20. I would have given him 40 and said, "You know what? Get yourself 2 for honesty."
And gone are the days when the amusing one was, "Why lie? I just need a beer." That's like not even creative enough anymore. These guys are out there getting fucking like obscene.
I've had one where like someone's like, "We'll need money for penis reduction," and I'm like, "I'll give you $20 to prove that you need a penis reduction."
So why don't we just drop trial right now? Because I mean, hell, it's going to cancel itself out anyways.
Right.
And I'm not. You're true. Then, from my standpoint, you don't need anything.
Holland, what would you do though if he dropped trow to prove that he needed a penis reduction and he flopped out a fucking 12-inch dong?
If he needed a penis reduction, the first mind to be like, "I like a challenge."
That's kind of like, if anybody, the look on Jay's face right now, his jaw just fucking dropped. I'm just, because I'm used to Holland, I'm used to his like, just fuck it.
I'm so sorry. By the way, Jay, I'm very explicit on all things.
I find that's the spice of life. So thank you for showing up.
That's exactly why I invited you guys.
If you didn't catch on by now, I'm on the other side of the rainbow. Do it. So that would be my first reaction if that was the case. Like, are you looking for a challenge? I like a challenge. Right? Like, I get scared.
Oh man, and this podcast, and neither one of you have actually even heard the podcast before, so shame on you guys.
None of us what?
Neither one. I invited you guys on here knowing that at least you, Holland, have not heard. I think, Jay, you might have listened to one episode.
Yeah.
And now you're just going to have to listen to more, because I'm telling you right now, we've had discussions about fleshlights, dildos, condoms.
Oh my God. I mean,
dick size.
Well, I have a couple of when I was younger, curiosity. I had those little things that, when you're a teenage boy going through puberty, your curiosity, so you have around the house. But I think that might be for another podcast.
But, dude, and
let's just say a vacuum hose can be very universal.
Wow.
What shit.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I think this podcast is like we need to yeah.
And that's why I do this, because I know some really interesting people in this world. Very specifically, usually it's the Bratty Squirrel and I.
I'm so sorry.
I know
I'm
some
so
really
sorry, man.
interesting people, and just the conversations that we have are just fan
Jay, I'm
fucking
so
tastic.
sorry. Like,
No, what was so funny was after you said that, I was like, immediately I went to 1,000 Ways to Die. He sucked his penis off and bled out.
only thing I can picture is with like somebody else in the house. Like, why is this hose clogged? This is bullshit. And you see like,
Well,
you
and
see, like, white stuff.
there's times, there's certain occasions when body parts that are normally covered are just shared and explored. Like, people that have piercings tend to not be shy about showing them.
Oh my god, I'm so scared to get with a guy that's got genital piercing.
Oh, you
Like, you know,
But you like the challenge.
Yeah, but not when the challenge is possibly getting fucking stuck in me and I'm going to the fucking hospital. Yeah, it's stuck.
Good luck getting that MRI.
No, right. Well, Prince Albert wouldn't be that bad. I think probably the one that would scare most people might be a Jacob's ladder.
What?
A Jacob's ladder. Come on, you don't know what a Jacob's ladder is? That is multiple piercings going
Imagine
up the
what
shaft.
Imagine what you do to a kebab.
Ooh,
No. Jacob's ladder is multiple piercings, Amplake up and Appendragia going up the length of the shaft.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It's basically a French tickler built in.
Ooh, no. See, I would be scared that it would get stuck. I would be scared that they would somehow magically screw them off. Like, oh my god! Like, imagine if like you're going to like the airport.
I've managed to remove a
happens.
piercing from a woman down there
Oh my god!
with my tongue.
Like, did you have to use like metal detector? Hold still, beep 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 beep.
No.
Just, like, found it.
I was eating at the
My-
Y,
one of my-
and I
one of my
managed to
favorite
take
things
off
in
the
the world.
piercing.
One of my favorite things in the world was that ex that I was referring to, Greg. She has a tongue piercing.
Right.
Like, I'm just like, I don't know.
And
I've never-
and if the best thing about having the tongue piercing when you're receiving oral pleasure is
Yes.
is if like right beforehand they take a drink of like a cold beverage.
Oh my god! Oh,
See, you know what? Okay, you know what's so
stuck
funny
right up
though,
here. Wow.
when it comes to that speed that we're on this subject is that coming from a bottom, there's certain things that I like to do that you would not see a bottom normally do, and it kind of throws off the top. He's like, I normally do this. I'm like, well, surprise, we're taking turns.
Right.
And I'm not very big on receiving oral. So I don't like it really. But I have a problem the other way around. But I just can't do it. I don't know. It's weird. The feeling's weird. I don't know why.
I'm not gonna understand you there, man. I'm like, oh, let me shine a light on this. You know, I want to watch it go gobble down. You know.
I'm going to light the bat signal out the window, start playing the Keaton soundtrack.
So,
That should tell them.
see, I feel sorry for like all the people that are like hoes that are on like quarantine, and it's been like 3 months, and then they finally get like, oh, you should go out, and then they
Who's
find
do you
somebody-
say?
Oh, dude, and
Oh my God.
here's the issue with the people that have not, especially the guys that have not had it for a while, and
Well,
more specifically
Well,
for tops, because bottoms can go all day long because until your ass bleeds, but
never happened yet.
good for you. But a guy that has not had it for a while, has gone a couple months in quarantine, that first time he gets it, it's going to be pump, done.
Well, well,
There's not even a pass. It's just puff, puff, done.
let's see. Well, let's see. If the vacuum hose gets tiring and I want, full effect, I have a golf club in the closet.
Oh
I have
man.
options. I
Yeah,
don't need it, man.
and the thing is here's the
Depending on the day, it's either
recommendation.
the putter or the 7-iron.
The recommendation for the guys that are stuck in quarantine right now:
Don't use the vacuum.
Rub one out
no.
a lot.
Well, here's the thing. If you're that desperate, but you want to be like, you want some options, you have the vacuum hose, or if you have like a cantaloupe or watermelon, drill a hole, heat it up for about 15 seconds. Couch cushions.
We're in the quarantine. You take 2 of your kitchen sponges, you put them together with one of the rubber gloves that you now have in your house because everybody's got fucking surgical gloves in their house.
Yeah,
you put them in there and you wrap the fucking rubber band around it so that now you have a nice little rubbery hole to do.
But why would you use like a glove that's like been for like the protection of the coronavirus, and then you like develop this mutated corona STD, and it's like,
I'm not going to be wearing the glove after I'm done with it. I'm not going to be wearing that glove when I'm done with it.
Like, there are ways. I don't know. I've just never been very basic. Like the whole sock and like the lotion thing, I don't get it. I don't want to make a sock dirty unless it was on my foot. I'm about getting burned.
Right.
Like, am I making a noise because it burns, or does it feel, or both? Both.
Yeah.
But I love messing with people though when it comes to that. Oh, it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, well no, you're good at that shock comment. When somebody makes a comment that in regards to size or something like that, you're like, is that a challenge? And have their eyes drop, just like Jay's did. The what? The fuck was that?
See, I had a friend who was, me and her were friends since like high school. She had a boyfriend, which I knew him and her around the same time before they were together, but I was more closer with him than her. He's heterosexual. He's straight, but I would mess with him, and it would be hilarious because you know how to react. He went out of town, and I was at her house helping her rearrange, and he wanted cookie. She said yes, but she didn't tell him I was over there.
Right.
Yeah. And her bed was between the window. There's a little opening between the wall, and then there's always
to the windows, to the walls.
And he came over, and she didn't say anything because I was like, "Don't tell him I'm here. I want to mess with him." So, and he came over, and they were, and then he finished. So I got up behind him. I grabbed his ass. I'm like, "Player 2's entered." And he like,
oh my God. First off, I don't own a gun, and you would have to be very glad I don't at that point. But
and her, and I swear, I've never. And she was like, in all my life dating, I've never ever feel a guy go soft inside me. And I thought it was like, why are you soft? Like, you got player 2. Come on, like, you walked in here with a Red Bull. You think that shit's over? Nope.
Oh God. Nope. Wow.
Maybe. Wow. But I was just messing with him, but it's just hilarious. But he doesn't get mad. And one thing, like, he jokes around, but he doesn't get mad.
The sheer shock of that would make me into Limp Noodle. I'd be like, what the fuck?
It wasn't because of that. It was the fact that he doesn't like being scared.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. The sheer shock of that, the sheer like, holy fuck, would be like.
I just came up and was like, just player 2.
Oh Jesus!
I think I would have peed.
Like, a player is entered battle.
Fuck. Piss.
But her face is like, I've never in my life felt like ghost. I was like, yeah. He doesn't see, but there's times I want him to get mad because he never does. I push back.
Round 2,
but then
fight.
but he doesn't say anything. He puts up with it, which I was like, okay, like, but he knows I do it. Else I would stop if he didn't like. But I swear, I feel like he wants something, but he doesn't want to say anything. He wants to judge you.
The most I probably would have done in a situation like that, because I've been in the room when other people were boning. I've been in the swinger parties. I've been in all that kind of situations.
I'm not big on that stuff, by the way. Like, it was him. If it was anybody else, I would have dipped out or left a little bit. But him, I was like, this is the perfect, he's going to be in and out in like 20 minutes. I'm just going to mess with him. As she did.
But no, I mean, I've been in a lot of situations. I've been in from everything from fetish clubs to swing parties. I've DJ'd swinger parties. And the most I would do is something like walk into the room and see two people boning, which I've done plenty of times, and be like, right near the end, when I know that he hits his, it'd be like, finish him. And just
oh my god! Like you have like a computer, like a video game orgy. It is like, I'm still out of mana.
Start a daisy train, and when it's time for the next person to get on, it'd be like, round 2, fight.
I had only once in my life that I can recall I've ever participated in like a group thing. But the thing is, I was the only. There's 4 women, and I've never did anything with women. For the record, not going to happen. It's like trying to put 2 negative magnets together. Just don't touch. There is 4 women, and there was like 5 guys. But I was in the 5 guys, but I was the only one who was gay.
Right.
So we played a game called Guess Who.
Oh God.
I saw where that was going.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
And at the time, I was wearing a beanie, but my hair was kind of long, so I took it off. And so what we were doing, oral, but we shut the lights off so you couldn't see who it was. They were able to feel it. So my beanie, I kind of had, hair to like my shoulders, or kind of. This was a few years ago, and so the game was to guess who it was. There's one guy, which I'm not going to name, just out of respect for him, and he was like really into it, and he was the one that was kind of like, wasn't really like. It really threw him, like he kind of freaked out a little bit, but then like 2 minutes later, he's like, "That's not bad." He flipped out. He just started throwing some names. And then all you hear was, "What's out of the girls?" And who the fuck is it? And here you go over here, flicks on the way, and I'm like, surprise.
Ooh.
Surprise!
You
say
that, and the cat just jumps up onto the table and knocks the damn microphone stand. But
and he was like, "Damn, that's it's sad." I'm like, "Well, he's better than most of the women I've been with." I was like, "Well, yeah, because I'm a guy and I know what a guy wants."
Well, yeah, and there is kind of the standard of guys do know what the guy wants, and I would not be surprised at all about a guy being better than a lot of women. Women, take notes from gay men. You know that show on Vegas that they've got sex tips for straight women from a gay man or something like that? It's true. Listen to them.
Wait, I have a question for you guys for adult films. Just tell me if this makes sense. So is it, at least to me, on this general subject, would you think that, regular adult films, man on female, wouldn't that be more of like bisexual porn and girl on girl straight porn for men and young guy straight porn for women?
No. Whereas I like the the girl on girl action. Lesbianism,
oh, yeah.
Good.
Yes.
We got thumbs.
We got thumbs. Yes.
But
Yes.
the guy
Yes.
the guy on girl, I am completely down with, because here's where the fantasy aspect. Even though obviously I do not have the 6-pack abs, I don't have the big muscles, I don't have a 12-inch.
I imagine it's me.
I imagine it's me. I in my
sir.
mind's eye, I picture myself being that dude boning that chick.
See, in my mind, I'm only enjoying half of it.
I even try to time it right.
Oh yeah, dude. You and like if you're getting close too early, you like back off a little bit, so then you know you're timing it right for the end.
Yes.
But then again, I like a little race. I'm like, I got it before you, bitch. Like first. You like to make it a little
Well, see,
competition
now 9
sometimes.
times out of 10, you know, you're just really trying to rub one out before you go to sleep, and you're like, okay, this is just how I'm going to go to sleep, and just get it done, and you know, it's just kind of business, but it's.
All right, come on, Bruce. Let's finish this. I gotta be.
For all of you 18-year-olds listening to this, or any younger men, which you should be listening to this at this point, about age 27, it becomes business.
Yeah,
It really does. I mean, it does. I think it does. Like
once you pass the quarter of a century old, it's just kind of business when you're rubbing one out. You're just, you know, like feeling that little need at the end of the day. It's relaxing. It calms. It just erases the
Like
brain.
when I first started driving Uber, this is gonna be great. When I first started driving Uber, I the area that I was situated in the valley was very close to the U. So I would be like, well, I can't drive around distracted all day. Just take care of business before we leave and hop in the Impala and go. And, you know.
Yeah, dude, I drive the Strip. Can you? I mean, you've been in Vegas. You've lived here. You know how much half-naked flesh walks down that damn street.
Yes.
Yeah, some of them.
Yes.
Oh my God.
There have
some of
been
them should not be
days-
The
half naked.
first time I went to Fremont Street and saw chicks in bikinis making my drink.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there have been days when I have refused to get out of my seat in the bus because I'm not trying to embarrass myself or anybody else around me because of the tent that I'm fucking sporting in my damn pants. So it's like I have seen everything. Nothing surprises me anymore. Roadhead does not surprise me on the Strip anymore. I'm looking over to the side. It's like, oh look, somebody's getting head.
But
Another
nothing,
one.
yeah, I get it. I'm born and raised, you know, here. And nothing bothers me. But I swear, some of the people that dress up on the Strip, oh my God, why? I mean, I understand you got to make your money.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not bashing you for doing what you, but I swear, some of these costumes that they make are, oh my God, or they don't, you know, the body figure for it, you know. And I mean, I've seen some of these fake showgirls, and not real showgirls. Sorry to bust your bubble, but some of them, oh no, they're trying
No.
good for effort, but some of them get cocky, and it's like the ones that don't have any that like make you feel like very pretty to what they are. But some of them, there's one that was at one of my locations was pissed because somebody asked her, "Do you have to tip them?" It's like, "No, you're in public." She got all pissed because yes, have to, no. She starts running her mouth. Mind you, she ain't got no features. I'm sorry, and I'm not one to talk trash. She is what you call a toadback. A toadback. For those of you that don't know, a toadback is somebody whose back goes straight into their ass like a frog's does, or a toad.
Oh.
It just goes straight in. Like, you have no assets to offer. Like, again, get your dollar, get your thing, get your money, whatever. But don't be walking around strutting something you don't have and trying to act like you all that. I'm like, I'll give you $20 Monopoly money. Like, like you, and they're like, oh, it's $20 each. I'm paying you $20. Oh, we work separately. Then why the fuck y'all are in the same outfit?
No, some of them, though, they make their money because they are very specifically not fit to be wearing what they're wearing. That's like if you went out with a showgirl outfit. If you went out with the fucking bra, panties, the feathers, the whole 9 yards, I would pay money to have a picture next to you because you would just be so not what anybody would expect to see.
Yeah, but then it's like, I'll pay you to put it on, and then that's where I'm gonna make my money. $10. Like, who wants me to put it on for 20?
No, dude, I'd straight up. If you were wearing platform heels and a straight up fucking showgirl outfit, I would. If I saw you on the strip, I'd have a picture taken with you, just because it would just be that much of a holy shit. Look what I found.
First, I would like I'm glad that I would get a picture and a tip from you, but I was like, I ain't wearing that. Like, with my body figure, I ain't walking around looking like I'm flossing my ass cheeks.
The whole point is that it goes from the extremes. You got the girls that fit it, that are good. The girls that don't fit it, that are bad. And then the people that don't fit it so hilariously that it's worth taking a picture with, that are fantastic.
Those people are the ones that are okay, that's fine. But I'm talking about, excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. My throat's very dry. Don't even think word, Greg.
Swallow your lube. Sorry, I worked it raw. I know. But
no, you didn't have nothing much to work, so nothing got hydrated. Anyway.
God damn, where's my scoreboard? Oh, Jesus. Fuck, I need a pen.
It took him an episode and a half, though, to get to a decent comeback, because, that's what you would expect from a slow-ass iPhone user.
Let's see, this last iPhone users never had a product recall, and we perfect software. You guys,
you're right.
Really do not.
You're right, because one product,
we perfected. Samsung might put things out, but that doesn't mean. When Apple puts something out, by the way, this is not sponsored. I wish it was. Their software, everything has been perfected. So
you're right. One product from one manufacturer has had things. And you know what I've never owned? One of the models that was recalled. Haha.
That's my problem with Apple, though, is my philosophy on perfection is that there is nothing left to be improved upon. So there's no excitement.
Well, the thing is, how I see it is that when you put out a product, or at least Apple's thing, they're the type, it may take a bit longer, but it's more, nothing's really truly perfect, but it comes out, for the most part with no flaws.
Right.
When Android, and I'm not talking about Samsung in particular, but with Android, when something gets put out, it's not as
in some cases, it's not as polished. And in some cases where they've tested it, and they just didn't test it in this one particular way, and that happens to be the error that people find. And even iPhone has had some recalls. It's not been very frequent, but the thing is that they don't push the limits of technology. They don't push it as high as it could go, because the edge of the as high as it could go. That's kind of like when you get a PlayStation or a game system or something like that. When they first come out, there's issues. Period. There just is.
Oh yeah. When it came out, I had.
And they've troubleshot them. They've tested them. They've beta tested. They've had people playing for months just to work out all the kinks. And then when they release it, guess what? There's kinks. It happens.
There's what?
There's kinks. Because when you're on you're on the edge of technology, there's going to be problems. And then sometimes the problems are bad enough to the point where you got to recall it, but usually it's not. And with iPhone, you have iPhone or iPhone. With Android, you've got LG, HTC, Motorola, Samsung, OnePlus, Huawei.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the only thing that I, for some reason, just don't like, is that you have Android, right? But then it's not original because everybody got their own version of Android. There's nothing, unique overall about the general software on Android devices.
Well,
That's
it's
why I
really
myself
which
like Apple
But
because it's
that's because the device itself is unique across the board when you consider different manufacturers.
right.
yeah,
You know,
but it's a but
Motorola
it's
has different features as to an HTC. My Samsung has different features to my LG tablet. That's what I like about it. I mean, yeah, there's learning curves, but there are some things that I've had iPhones. I never liked any of them.
See, I used to hate. I was in school. I used to hate Apple because I'm the type of person when everybody has something, and then they always talk about it. It gets annoying. I don't care for that. Like, if you're gonna, be that person, start thinking that you have to have this, then I don't want that.
Right.
But I think as phone progressed, and Android, because when iPhone came out, iPhone when it first came out was
Everybody had it.
kind of better than Android at the time because the software for iPhone then was considered more advanced than Android, at
Right.
least at
Right.
that time. So that's
Android
why.
didn't
But as it
really.
progressed, because I've had the Moto X. I think my very first smartphone. Well, my first smartest phone I think was a BlackBerry. I don't know if you would consider that a smartphone. Um, I'm assuming it's kind of a smartphone because you were able to have access to the internet and all that stuff. I loved my BlackBerry. But
Yeah,
it's
no.
like
Blackberries were smartphones. In fact, they were considered some of the first smartphones. Um, they have their own OS, and part of the reason why they fell short was because in the market between Android and Apple and BlackBerry, BlackBerry had the least functionality.
see, the
And
thing is, BlackBerry is more known or popular in the business world.
were and that's because they were stable and everything like that, and they were the
And
first smartphones. Then Android and Apple came out, and they offered basically it was basically like having a slightly dumbed down computer in your hands. And and as time has gone on, Android started off behind Apple. They really did. They were completely behind Apple. Apple was at the
it's like,
forefront. They
yeah,
had the
because Apple came out and kind of paved the way
first
for like the
smartphones. They did.
beginning
They
for
did.
smartphones. So you got to give Apple that.
I
But
do.
of
Well,
course,
I do give
no,
it.
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
when Apple came out, yeah,
The
the
first
first touchscreen.
touchscreen. No. The first touchscreen device that had the full functionality of a smartphone was the BlackBerry Firestorm. The
Right.
first the first touchscreen device that gave us the modern day concept of what we know now as a smartphone was the iPod Touch, which was
Right.
technically not a smartphone.
Right. No, and,
Yeah,
and see
my
the thing
thing.
is though is that the iPhone, it was the first popularized touchscreen smartphone.
Yeah, because when I think of touchscreen, I think of like I didn't like the touchscreens where it's like it's touchscreen, but then you have like that film you actually have to put pressure on to open something. It's gone. I used to have an LG Rumor,
Mm-hmm.
first generation one, and you had to there's like a plastic film you had to push on to. I didn't like those. To me, were like a weird touchscreen. Like you had to put pressure on it in order to open up your messages or open up your settings. Not like
Right.
we have like a heat touchscreen, what we have now. But I'm talking
Right.
about for like the first actual touchscreen in the part of the first iPhone kind of hit the mark on what a
They did.
touchscreen
They
is.
did. And then Android came in, and when Android was released at about the same time as iPhone, they just weren't anywhere near as functional. They were nowhere near as polished when iPhone came out. And then
And
Android went and said, "You know what? Apple is making us look stupid. So let's release this as freeware, so you can actually go through. You can download right now. You can go online someplace and download the Android operating system. You can download it right now. It's open source, and you can install it on whatever system you want. And the nice thing is, because it's open source and open code, is you can go through and you can edit that code to make that Android experience whatever you want it to be. Hence the reason why all these different manufacturers have their own slight differences on Android, making it so that it's more fun for their users to use what they think is the perfect version of Android OS. You know, Apple, you get, well, what Apple tells you. That's. Are you still there, Holland?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got a situation with my mom. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But in the end, there's things about iPhone. There's a couple things on both sides when it comes to the Android platform and the iOS platform. I love iPhone, dude. I love the simplicity of it. You know, because I'm a very simple person, but you can still do work needs you do on an iPhone. But the only thing that gets me is that Android, they want to do all this stuff, but sometimes Android can add too much to a device.
Yeah, Android is not for the technologically uninclined, because you have many.
That can be argued about iPhone as well, because and I know they've gotten rid of iTunes, but previously the iTunes functionality and requirement for every fucking thing for iPhone does make it a technological challenge for the uninitiated.
Yeah, it's like if I went to Android, I would have to learn to adjust, and if Ray just hypothetically were to iTunes, for someone who's never had it, you have to adjust on their end.
Right.
But it's like once you learn the phone on either end, then you know how to use it. Because I used to have no issue using, when I had my Motorola, I had the issue. Only thing that I learned was getting into the developer settings and being able to shut everything down that I needed to. Force will have to. But the only thing, the couple things I don't like about Android, and this is more for financed phones through.
Because there's no specific Android store.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that I like when you say you don't want to just put down and buy a phone outright, but you want to finance it through, we'll say, Sprint or T-Mobile, since now they've merged, not sponsored.
Right.
You get bloatware from whatever carrier. iPhone does not permit carriers to install bloatware on their devices. That's what I like. Like, I don't like. I don't. I get. You get a phone, an Android or an iPhone. You're gonna have their few applications are installed. I expect that, but because that's how it is. But to put a carrier on there, because I have the T-Mobile app on my phone, but it's just to pay the bill. It's just paid online. It's just a bit more of a hassle to take it in and go. But I do like the the customization of Android. The personality. From what I
SD
read,
card expansion. Easy to connect to anything.
But you have iCloud.
I got Google Cloud.
iCloud will do photos, documents, and all that stuff too. And you can access iCloud on a tablet, computer, and
you can do that with Google Drive on any Android device.
You doesn't even have to be an Android device. I access my Google Drive and my Google Photos and everything on my iMac. Yeah,
if you download the Google app, yes. But I'm saying
it comes standard on Android devices.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I wanted to, I download Google whatever on my phone, and it's not an issue. I would have to download it. But I mean, iCloud to me is an equivalent of having a chip. You store everything.
Right. Here's the thing: is I do that as well, except I do that, and it's accessible everywhere, on every device. I can go right now on my smart home speaker that I have over there with a 10-inch screen on it, and tell it to bring up my photos in my Google Photos. I can look on my Mac, which is right across the street from right across the room from me, and I can do the same damn thing. And I got my laptop
Yeah,
that's sitting right here.
I
So,
do that too. Just sign in cloud
you know,
and on anything and do the same thing. But I mean, for anybody, once you learn, your phone, regardless of what platform, is like you're able to do all that just, a
right,
little different.
right.
The biggest thing I love about Apple, they're more secure. That's the biggest thing that I like about Apple is their security.
That's questionable right now. It's honestly, that's
Their
questionable
security
right now.
and their privacy. They take it they develop. I think in iOS 13 security thing. So when you log in something, you actually have an option to like sign in with Apple with like a generated email. So when you get notifications, it'll get sent that email. It'll send to your real one, and you have an option to control. So third-party apps don't have access to your actual personal information. I kind of like that.
And I've got some options like that too on Android.
Yeah,
And
Android has the same options.
Yeah, Android has the same option. So really, it's just a matter of preference of OS at this point.
Yeah,
And
but I only say I don't like. I don't. There's a bit more personalization on iPhone that I do agree that I like Android over. There may be changes in iOS 14 for this year when the new phones come out. Widgets, like home screen things, but that's like minor stuff. Yeah,
and really, it's to the point anymore where the only major difference is that Android devices, at least the big name ones, the OnePlus, Samsung, LG, they come out with advancements before iPhone. Period. Now, the trade-off on that is sometimes that the advancements are kind of glitchy when you get them. But iPhone does not have the in-screen fingerprint sensor.
See, now here's the thing. I'm not big. See, that's me when it comes to security. I didn't care if it was Face ID. Personally, fingerprint thing for me, especially in screen, it's like I've seen mixed reviews on people like, oh, you have to do it a few times. I don't care for fingerprint. To me, that's when you've had fingerprint for so long and then it goes on screen. To me, it's still not a big deal because, like, yeah, it's there on the front, but if something happens to your display and you can't use it, you're fucked. And if that's your
because then you have code, then you have a retinal scan, then you have a PIN number, then you have they always have multiple backups. Now
they do sometimes, but I'm talking about overall. If your screen goes out and it's all fingerprint and all that stuff, what are you going to do if those options are available? You have they don't have a fingerprint scanner. They have facial recognition.
All Android devices require you to set up a PIN unlock code first before using any of the biometrics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apple's
so you have to have
a
PIN. Yeah.
So like right now, for example, my phone is set up for fingerprint. It's also set up for facial recognition and everything. So I can open it with my finger like this. I can look at it and then it unlocks like that. And then I just have to swipe. Or I, can just press the button, swipe, and put in my code.
I think my favorite vlog pass it. I've always liked the pattern on Android where you do
the pattern thing. Yeah,
I love that. I like
and that is a good one. That's actually my backup is I do the pattern, but I've got a pattern and a pin and a fingerprint setup, so that if I screw up the pattern, like I'm can't see or my screen's not working right, I can do the pin, and usually that works a little bit more dependably than the pattern. But 9 times out of 10, I just use a fingerprint sensor. Now my other half, she's got the new S20, S20 Plus. And that's got the in-screen fingerprint sensor, and then with Android phones coming out with technology first, I had a 4K screen in 2014. 4K display.
Yep.
iPhone didn't come out with a 4K display until, what was it, 3 years later?
See, I'm the type where I'm more battery focused than display. So it's like, okay, I have a 1080 screen, but it means I'm going to have better battery life.
Well, and,
Like-
and see, now I'm fine with my battery getting drained as long as my screen looks pretty.
Like 1080p was fine anyways, you know. for
I
me.
mean, that's like,
I always look at
honestly, if I get in a room with a hot naked chick, I'm cool with me only lasting 2 seconds. I'm like, fuck, dude, she's hot. I want things to be pleasing to my eyes. And if it doesn't last long because it's pleasing to my eyes, well, then I had a really great experience. It just didn't last long.
See, I'm not. I don't know. I've never been. Have always been, on battery. Because when I had the Samsung devices or Android devices that I've kind of like tested over time, I've always like had the OnePlus 7 Pro when I for that 24-hour period and went back to iPhone. The first thing I did, I dropped the settings and 80 to expand the battery.
Right.
But I had a faulty phone too. The battery was draining like super fucking fast. I mean, from that when I went from the T-Mobile store to the bus station to grab the bus going home, because when we had that micro transit, that battery went from like 93% to like 79 in a matter of like 10 minutes.
Ouch.
The battery was like, oh, you're supposed to average this, but it wasn't getting that.
No yawning, Jay. No yawning.
I'm not yawning.
We are not at a Samsung event. Do not yawn. Anyways.
Stretching his jaw, getting ready for the... Oh, wait. No, that's another conversation entirely.
No, I'm the straight one, remember?
And I'm the one you play Guess Who. No.
Oh, God. Yeah, we are actually nearing the end of another hour, dude.
I'm ready to keep going, honestly. I'm not... I don't know. Like I'm ready to keep going, but
and we'll definitely have you guys back on. In fact, if you guys want, Jay and I used to be part of something that they did on Blade Radio where we had a guys' night.
That was Black Star.
Yeah, it was Black Star. Yeah, back on black. Yeah, Black Star Radio. And we had
that's the new intro song right there.
But we did a guys' night, and stay in touch, Mr. Holland. Maybe we can include you in on that type of situation. But is there anything you guys would actually like to promote for yourselves, even if it's Jay? Is there's something you're working on that you want to get the word out on? Nope. Dude, you guys
nope. My business is stalled right now. So
a cause that you would like to support or something?
Don't forget to get your pet spayed or neutered. Help control the pet population.
Adopt, don't buy. Yeah. Spay or neuter your children.
What else? Don't pay in cash.
Don't use COVID-19 gloves to pleasure yourself with. I don't know.
Don't use the vacuum.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the vacuum. You got to have the right lotion.
Yeah. No. Okay, guys. Yes, we are actually at that point. That means I get to play our little intro, outro music. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Squirrel Tangent. Please check us out on all of your streaming devices. Share us with your friends. Let everybody know that you have listened to the Squirrel Tangent and you think we're stupid as fuck and you want them to listen too.
This is pretty much like a night out on the strip.
It really is. Ladies and gentlemen, again, check us out on patreon.com/the Squirrel Tangent. That's where you can pledge a little support if you like what we do or you just want to pay us to shut the fuck up. We're not going to, but hey, you can pay us anyway. And check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/the Squirrel Tangent. You look us up as the Squirrel Tangent anywhere, and that's where you'll find us. Bye.